Now to the protests across the country in response to the Supreme Court ruling. ABC's Aaron Katersky joins us with the latest. Good morning to you, Aaron.
Eva, good morning to you. Police have already been worried about extremist threats to pride marches like the one today here in New York City. Now they fear Friday's abortion ruling is only adding fuel to the fire.
Many protests across the country this weekend following the Supreme Court's Roe v. Wade reversal were largely peaceful, but it's incidents like these that have law enforcement officials on high alert. An off-duty Providence, Rhode Island police officer who's running for office as a Republican, seen here punching his Democratic opponent at an abortion protest. That officer is now suspended and dropping out of his race. In Arizona, police used tear gas to disperse abortion rights protesters who breached the state capitol. And in Iowa, a pickup truck driver allegedly struck an abortion rights demonstrator after an argument. The concern from federal law enforcement officials is that extremists on the far left and the far right are seizing this divisive moment to incite violence.
We are seeing in chatter online and domestic violent extremist spaces that indicate both white nationalists, anti-government extremists view this as a target of opportunity.
In a bulletin obtained by ABC News, the Department of Homeland Security said the abortion ruling could spur violence for weeks, with abortion providers, churches, and judges most at risk.
One of my biggest fears is that somebody else would lose their life or their loved one.
Judge Esther Salas, whose son was murdered in the family's New Jersey home by a man targeting her, has been urging Congress to take action to protect judges.
We know that my son would expect nothing more than for us to not only survive in this world, but he wants us to thrive.
Congress has passed legislation to protect Supreme Court justices and their families, but no amount of security can compensate for the hostility that's now coursing through the country. And Janae, it's not just the abortion ruling. The Supreme Court's concealed carry decision has led to calls on the far right for protesters to arrive armed. Janae?
You said it right, Aaron. That's so much hostility. Well, turning now to a look at what could be the next battleground, the abortion pill. The U.S. Attorney General saying states cannot ban the drugs, while some states are already trying to limit access to them. Joining us now is ABC News contributor Kate Shaw, professor of constitutional law at Cardozo Law School. Kate, thanks so much for being with us. After Friday's ruling, Attorney General Garland made a point of saying that states can't ban the abortion pill based on disagreement with the FDA's judgment and its safety and efficacy. That sounds like a qualified statement. Do states have legal grounds to ban the abortion pill?
Well, Janae, I think it's clear that the abortion pills, and that's a 2-pill sequence that's approved for terminating early pregnancies up to about 10 weeks, is going to be a very important part of the post-Roe landscape. So the FDA has approved these pills for terminating early pregnancies, and it has approved them being delivered by mail. But of course, some states are going to seek to prevent their citizens from obtaining those pills and using those pills by mail. In a word, it's unclear sort of what the legal status of the FDA's approval and its interaction with state attempts to ban these pills will look like in the courts. The idea is something called preemption. If there's a direct conflict between state and federal law is supposed to preempt the state law. And I presume the Federal Department of Justice will sue states if they seek to prohibit access to the abortion pills, claiming that the federal law basically supersedes the state law. Yeah. But the Supreme Court is going to have to weigh in on this. It's a complex body of law, and the Supreme Court is pretty hostile to abortion rights. And so I think it's anybody's guess how that legal dispute will play out in the U.S. Supreme Court.
Okay, and Planned Parenthood says that it's going to challenge the court to challenge Utah's trigger law. How likely is that to succeed?
What the United States Supreme Court decided in the Dobbs decision on Friday when it overturned Roe was that the federal constitution doesn't protect a right to abortion. But it didn't say anything about what state constitutions say. And of course, every state has its own constitution. And so what Planned Parenthood is saying is the Utah Constitution protects a right to abortion, even if the federal constitution doesn't. And the U.S. Supreme Court doesn't get to control what the Utah Constitution means. That's for Utah judges to decide. And this is a strategy abortion advocates have used in other states states, even states like Kansas, those courts have found that the state constitution protects a right to abortion, again, whatever the federal constitution is understood to do. And so that's, I think, where a lot of these legal fights are going to shift to state courts and state constitutions.
But it is certain that the fight is not over.
No.
Kate, thank you so much for joining us. And just a reminder to tune in to a special edition of This Week later this morning following that landmark Supreme Court ruling. Martha Raddatz goes one-on-one with South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem and Senator Elizabeth Warren, leading voices on both sides of the issue on the future of reproductive rights in America. Plus, January 6th committee member Representative Jamie Raskin on the latest from the hearings and the breakthrough deal on guns.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.